How to survive a plane crash, 10 tips that could save your life. We often think that plane crashes are catastrophic and unsurvivable events. Thanks to movies and 24/7 news channels, the enduring image of a plane crash usually involves an aircraft plummeting to the ground from 30,000 feet and obliterating everyone on board in a terrifying fireball. Thankfully, that isn't the case. In a report analyzing airline accidents from 1983 to 2000, the National Transportation Safety Board found that the survival rate of crashes was 95.7%. Close to half of all airplane crash fatalities might have been prevented had passengers taken proper action. While the odds of being involved in a plane crash may be slim, they're not zero. If it happened to you, would you know what to do to increase your chances of walking away? 1. You've only got 90 seconds to get out. Understanding this is the key ingredient to surviving, and will frame all the other tips in this article. If you've survived the crash landing, you have a pretty good chance of getting out of the airplane alive. But, you only have 90 seconds to do so. You see, the thing that kills most passengers in a plane crash isn't the actual impact, it's the fire that typically engulfs the plane afterwards. The reality is that it takes, on average, just 90 seconds for a fire to burn through the plane's aluminum fuselage and consume everything and everyone in it. If that sounds scary, it should. You need to be motivated to get your rear end out of the plane. 2. Be fit. Young, slender men have the best odds of surviving a plane crash. Old, fat women have the worst odds, sorry Aunt Myrtle. Escaping a plane crash requires you to maneuver quickly through narrow aisles with luggage and wreckage strewn about. You may even have to throw blockages out of your way. You then have to slip through an emergency exit that may only be 20 inches wide. If you're on the rotund side, make it a goal to shed some of that table muscle so you'll be fit enough to save your own life and perhaps the lives of others, and not just on a plane, either, but in all kinds of survival situations. 3. Fly in bigger planes if possible. According to FAA investigations, larger planes have more energy absorption in a crash, which means you're subjected to less deadly force, and that may equate to a better survival rate. 4. Remember the 5-row rule. According to researcher Ed Galea, those who survive a plane crash typically only have to move an average of 5 rows to escape. Beyond 5 rows, the chance of getting out alive decreases. The best seat to have is in the exit row, as you'd be the first one out should you need to exit. If you can't snag that seat, go for the aisle. Not only do you have easier access to the lavatory during flight, you also have a 64% chance of survival compared to the 58% chance you'd have sitting in a window seat. Also avoid bulkhead rows. 5. Overcome the normalcy bias with an action plan. Instead of springing to action when something unexpected happens, our brain kind of shrugs and figures that what is going on can't be so bad, because truly bad events are so out of the ordinary. To overcome the normalcy bias, you need to have an action plan on what you're going to do in the event of an accident every single time you get on the plane. I know where the exits are. 2. When you've spotted the nearest exit, count the number of rows between yourself and that row. 3. If you're traveling with kids, talk to your wife about who will be responsible for which kid in the event of an accident. 4. Mentally rehearse quickly springing to action as soon as the plane comes to a stop. Another reason it's important to have an action plan is that there's a good chance you won't have too much assistance from the flight crew. 6. Read the safety card and listen to the flight attendants. Another thing you can do to overcome the normalcy bias is to read through the safety card as well as listen to the flight attendants when they give their pre-flight safety spiel. Just because you've amassed enough frequent flyer miles to circumnavigate the globe 1,000 times, you're definitely not off the hook. Rereading the safety card will remind you where the nearest exits are and what to do during a crash landing. As you read through the safety guidelines, formulate your action plan. 7. Remember the +3/-8 rule. In the aviation world, +3/-8 refers to the first 3 minutes after takeoff and the last 8 minutes before landing. According to flight crash investigators, close to 80% of all plane crashes occur during this time frame. Thus, if you want to up your chances of survival, you need to be extra vigilant and ready to take action during the first 3 minutes after takeoff and the last 8 minutes before landing. Don't sleep during your takeoff and be alert. 8. Put on your oxygen mask as soon as it drops. When a cabin loses pressure, there's so little air at high altitudes that getting oxygen to your bloodstream is next to impossible. That's where oxygen masks come in. They pump pure oxygen into your nose and mouth so that you can get the air you need. Just a few seconds of oxygen deprivation can cause mental impairment. You're pretty much useless to others if you're not getting oxygen to your brain. 9. Assume brace position. The idea of brace positions might seem a little silly. There's no way that curling up in a ball would help you survive a plane crash, right? But research has shown that brace positions do indeed up the chances of survival in an emergency crash landing. The positions help reduce the velocity of your head when it inevitably slams into the seat in front of you. Moreover, they help minimize limb flailing. 10. Forget your carry-on luggage. Remember the kids. Alright, the plane has crash landed and you're still alive. Time to get to those exits as fast as you can. Remember, you only have 90 seconds. Believe it or not, you need to be reminded to forget your carry-on luggage. In your rush to get out of the plane, do not forget your kids. Thanks for watching this video and please subscribe. We will be coming with more of such content in future.